Black Rock City, the first and the largest Burning Man event. It's happening. I'm here, and I'm here to tell you that it's happening. The paperwork's in place, the collaborators are on site or en route, the infrastructure's up and running, and the artists are building massive, interactive experiences out of wood, metal, and tech, and everything else imaginable. So we decided to bring you a sonic journey of some artists' recordings and chats with Burning Man Project's Director of Art, Katie Hazard. This is Burning Man Live. Stuart Mangrum is busy pulling strings behind the dusty curtain. I'm the podcast producer, Michael Vav. Here are the stories of the art in Black Rock City. Well, some of it. 400 artworks from around the world will happen here. You'll hear about 12 of them, and this year's temple. The Desert Arts Preview is your chance to step behind the scenes and listen to the process of creating interactive, collaborative, community-built artworks on Playa.
Meet the people who make Burning Man happen.
Around the world.
The dreamers and doers.
The artists, freaks and fools.
Burning Man Live.
My name is Katie Hazard. I'm the Director of Art for Burning Man Project, so I have the great joy of overseeing the selection, placement, and installation of about 400 artworks at Burning Man each year. I'm so happy to welcome you to the 25th Annual Desert Arts Preview. We're going to be featuring different artworks with artists present. This is out of almost 400 artworks coming to Burning Man this year, and I'd like to invite you to consider how you would like to participate this year and play a part in the art of 2025. So Desert Arts Preview, this means that Burning Man is on the horizon. And no matter whether you're new to Burning Man or you've been an active part of the community for decades, I think many of us believe that the art is one of the things that's most unique about Black Rock City. I've been going to Burning Man since 2000 and hosting Desert Arts Preview since 2016. And I still get such a thrill hearing about the innovative and engaging and wild things that artists have dreamt up and want to bring to life. We get this rare opportunity to hear directly from the artists themselves about their work. So you're going to get a sneak peek behind the curtain and into the minds of these artists as they share with us about the projects they're working on for Burning Man 2025. We'll hear from artists all over the world, and in some cases, we'll get to see artists in their studios where they make the magic happen. So without further ado, let's get into it and hear from this great lineup of artists. I am excited that we have here today with us the two co-leads of the Sphinx Gate. We've got Mareesa Stertz and Tania Abdul. Mareesa is a filmmaker, storyteller, and community organizer focused on healing and transformation. She's been coming to Burning Man since 1999 and has been part of the Zendo team since 2019 and brought an artwork to Center Camp last year. Also with us today, we have Tania Abdul, who is a producer of immersive art and events and the co-founder of a nonprofit focused on environmental justice. She's produced multimedia experiences all across the U.S. and brought her brand of activism to festivals in the Bay Area and beyond.
The world is in a hard place. Many of us are asking, what can we do to help? Ancient stories tell us that those who face such hard questions were often met by sphinxes, mysterious keepers of riddles, guardians of the threshold, and across time and culture, the sphinxes would offer one invitation to look within. Now, the sphinxes return, two towering guardians, 34 feet tall, inspired by the never-ending story. Invite humanity to know thyself. This is Burning Man's largest honoraria project this year and the first of its kind, a transformative, immersive rite of passage. This isn't just about what we're building, it's why we're building it. Too often, personal growth and mental health feel isolating and overwhelming. But what if it didn't have to be like that? And when it comes to answering the riddle of how to do this better, Our team has spent years playtesting across festivals and burns, and we found one truth again and again, that knowing thyself is key, and doing so in community and play unlocks these riddles. Which is why our team of artists, designers, and dreamers want to invite you on a quest through the portals of being. Each portal offers a chance to play, reflect, and gather wisdom from life's challenges into a talisman. The talisman is then offered at the feet of the Sphinx for a climactic moment of lights, laser, and sound. Seekers are greeted by an oracle with a personalized mission, and the journey comes to a close in our cozy integration space. These Sphinxes are built not just for Burning Man, they're modular, designed for rapid build and strike, with a future that spans museums, festivals, retreats, and city pop-ups. These steel skeletons are wind-rated to 120 miles per hour. CNC cut forms will be layered with fiberglass, faces sculpted in polystyrene, wings shimmering with elliptical hoops and knotted string. Every curve, every bolt designed to awaken awe. And we need you. We are looking for event producers, builders and fabricators, fundraising leads, art team, docents, camp crew, and gear and materials. We are telling a new story, one where we face the hard parts of ourselves with curiosity, heart, and play. For we are not broken, rather we are becoming, and the gate only opens when we face it together.
So know thyself. I mean, what a big challenge.
Yeah.
What about each of you has brought you to the place where that's what you want to help other people?
I just saw, and I see this around me, is a lot of people are suffering and they don't have that community to help them unpack it. Nor have they been able to look at working on ourselves and healing in a fun, playful way. Because it has been, now that I have community doing it, we're like, ooh, you got some hard stuff. Ooh, let's feel those hard feelings and move through them. And with that positive peer pressure, it's easy. But if you don't know that exists, you're sitting alone, you feel bad. This is very much born of the desire to shift that narrative and shift the way we look at working on ourselves and knowing ourselves into something we can do as a quest. There's an incredible power that people are really used to knowing, like that art has power. It has power to move. There's so much you can do when people move outside of what they've sort of been patterned. Like, if you change a little bit of the context somebody's in, and allow them to feel a little bit of freedom where they can have some expression, then it's kind of amazing what someone's psyche will bring to the surface. There's this opportunity for spontaneous knowing and revelation, light bulbs.
Thank you guys so much. Really nice to have you here. I'm so excited for this project this year. Thanks so much. The next guest we have is Scottysoltronic, who is bringing the project this year called Sinksphere. Scottysoltronic is 1 part inventor, 1 part artist, and 3 parts mad scientist. Scotty is the founder of the Jank Stars and the creator of Jank Star Ranch, home to sustainable living, art, and music festivals in the heart of the Utah desert. I'm happy to have the chance to chat with you more today, Scotty. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Scottysoltronic. I'm a nomadic artist down here in the desert of southern Utah. I'm here at my ranch, known as the Jank Star Ranch, built entirely from found and reclaimed materials. And I work entirely from found and reclaimed materials. I do a lot of painting, a lot of sculpture. I like to work and tinker on all kinds of things. The sinks and the armature itself that it's mounting on was a globe that my friend found at a trade show. So our mission is to give all of these pieces of material another life out here, to see what we can build out here with found and reclaimed material and give everything another shot. This is the first time I've brought an art piece to the playa since I built the flying saucer in 2007. I just got back from Salt Lake. I was up in the scrapyard last week digging through the scrapyard, finding sinks, pulled out 5 or 6 more sinks. So this represents probably 5 years of collecting sinks. Then in the spaces between the sinks, I'm going to be doing some glass pieces. I work with a lot of glass in my art, plates and vases and candle holders, just all the grandma's glass that gets sent to the thrift store.
Jank. Will you define it for people?
Jank is derived from the term janky. I guess is maybe like derived from the word junk. Jank and junk. Junk is maybe garbage and it's just got thrown away. Janky is like, it's janky, it's broken, but it still works. These sinks are jank. Now it's a noun. Putting them together, it's janky. I think that once this thing is done, it's going to be such an interesting thing to see from a distance because you won't recognize them as sinks. It will just look like the sphere made of stainless steel, which is a really good representation of what jank is. It's 100% found and reclaimed material. I guess I should say 99.9% because we do buy some screws every once in a while.
Thank you so much for what you're doing. And I can't wait to see the Sinksphere spinning around on the playa this summer. So thanks for all you're doing.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity.
I'm really excited that today we have with us Tay, or Blitzy, as we all refer to him. Burning Man was what ignited his passion for immersive art, and in 2022, he received an honorarium for a project called the Afterlife. His whimsical, kinetic, and flame-filled works now light up events across the Bay Area. So I'm really excited to have you here today, Blitzy. Welcome.
Thank you. Yo, I'm Blitzy, or some people call me Aid. I'm the lead artist of Afterlife and Afterlife Reincarnate. The Afterlife is an artist collective of various Bay Area artists coming together to create some amazing big art on playa. The seed of the Afterlife was planted. It was 2011, my first burn. I walked out to the Esplanade and the open playa, and I'm like, my jaw just dropped. And I vowed to someday make big art out there. When we first brought the first iteration of Afterlife in 2022, we had about 33 crew members. We were building here in San Francisco for over 9 months. It took 10 days for us to build out on a playa, and it's one of the worst desert conditions with high winds and whiteouts. But the team came together and delivered. And it's so gratifying to be able to culminate all of our experiences and our skills in gifting something as magnificent as a sacred space, if you will, to our netizens and city dwellers of Black Rock City. And it's an honor to bring it back again this time. So Afterlife has got many lives, apparently. Afterlife Reincarnate is what we're going to bring to the playa this year. The Afterlife is an interactive black light art on playa. Of course, with color and beauty and movement and kinetic art, it evokes this lively presence on playa. And that's what we try to create, just beyond aesthetics. Try to inject some spiritual meaning into the art. The art itself is basically, if you look from an aerial point of view, a Tibetan mandala with various pieces that represents shrines and stupas and temples and pagodas, and the chance to represent some of that ancient knowledge and culture. So for example, this year, the art represents the ruined temples of Angkor and Borobudur in Cambodia and Indonesia. And some Minangkabau and Thai influences and Japanese influences in the structure and aesthetics. It's quite a huge undertaking to create big art on playa. The logistics, the fabrication, the transportation and building them on playa and taking it down in a matter of like a week, just over a week. I can never do this alone. I'm so indebted to my dream crew who comes from all backgrounds. In fact, some of our crew come from different states, including Colorado and Florida, different countries, from Denmark to Portugal. But they bring such rich knowledge and understanding from electrical engineering as to how we distribute our power, to rigging and how we do our aerial work for hanging some fire-breathing dragons and fabric clouds, to builders, carpenters. Logistics helps us create something that none of us could achieve by ourselves. So thank you, Afterlife crew.
Where did your interest in death or the afterlife come from?
I've personally had a few deep spiritual experiences with life after death and out-of-body experiences and journeys with psychedelic medicines and all that. And it sort of gravitated me to exploring what that is. Death is such a heavy, dark subject, if you will, But I kind of see it differently. And some cultures do that as well. You see that in the Mesoamerican cultures as well, especially Mexican cultures, and they celebrate. So it can be bright and colorful. It can be a beginning instead of an end.
Kudos to you for finding a way that, whatever people have in them that they're bringing to it at that time, they can be like that and explore it.
Yeah, and I think that's the joy of collaborative art. I tend to choose the road less traveled, and it's been quite a journey.
Well, I'm so glad that our journeys have intersected, and that I'm really grateful for you and the community that you've formed around you and the amazing work that you bring to Black Rock City. Thank you so much. It's really nice to talk with you more today. Next up, we have artist Whitney Webb, who is sharing the project at Burning Man this year called Resilience. Based in Asheville, North Carolina, Whitney creates large-scale, emotionally charged installations that weave together social justice, environmental awareness, and personal experience. The project Resilience transforms storm debris from Hurricane Helene into a sanctuary for art, memory, and recovery. Whitney is a Helene survivor herself, having lost her home and nearly everything she owned. So this work is both deeply personal and powerfully communal.
When Hurricane Helene hit, it made headlines. But headlines couldn't capture what it felt like to live through it. The power disappeared. Roads vanished. We were suddenly completely cut off. No signal, no communication. I was trapped away from my home. I had no idea what I would return to. For 3 days, I was listed as a missing person. In Western North Carolina, we still don't know how many lives were lost. In the River Arts District alone, where I lost my home, 27 warehouses were destroyed. Over 300 studios and galleries gone. And yet, community happened. We gathered where we could, on porches, by rivers, in powerless kitchens. We shared food, clothes, tools. Someone always showed up with what someone else needed. My friend Joe couldn't reach me. No one could. But he drove in from 2 states away anyway, showing up with a generator, water, and fuel. That's just who he is. And he'll be one of our builders on Resilience. I stayed with Zen Katana and his big, beautiful family for a week after the storm. 4 kids, a bonus kid, and a steady stream of people passing through. Their home became a refuge for anyone trying to reconnect. Zen hosted one of the first shower parties as soon as his well tested clean. For 6 months during the boil ban, his was one of the only reliable sources of potable water. Zen is our build lead because he doesn't just build structures, he builds community. I remember standing by the river, watching the flood carry our lives away. Then a giant fiberglass hippo from a mini golf course floated by. We laughed hard. We laughed for the first time since the storm. And I thought, someone made that. It mattered. That moment was the seed of the Resilience Gallery. Our friend Justin, who's contributing to the gallery, organized art lost and found efforts. He recovered pieces, including a few of his own. But what surfaced most were fragments of home, of memories, of lives interrupted. Resilience is built from that wreckage. A shelter made of salvage materials, a gallery filled with work by artists who nearly lost everything and still created something. In the months that followed, we kept gathering. River parties, shared meals, borrowed tools. Interstellar Noise, the sound artist behind the track you're hearing in the background, and I partnered with Burners Without Borders to open a small distribution center. It became a hub of care and for connection. Now, Interstellar Noise has created a custom soundscape for resilience, woven with field recordings from the mountains that made us. Every sound is rooted in place and in survival. Just last week, a body was pulled from the river. A man missing since Helene. 8 months later. The storm hasn't finished telling her story, but neither have we. Thank you for believing in us, our community, and our story. This project is built on community, and we'd love to share ours with you. Because resilience isn't just about surviving the storm. It's what you create from the wreckage.
Oh my God, how incredibly moving. I just think it says a lot about you as a person and your own determination and your personal resilience that you emerged from something like that and then wanted to make something positive out of it.
We actually didn't even have power yet when I wrote my letter of intent. I went to a disaster relief place and sat on the floor with my laptop and the only internet I could find to write my intent because I knew that I had to do something for this and I'd wanted to do art for Burning Man for about 20 years. I think it's the place for it because Burning Man has always been something really, really transformative for me. So I knew that was the right place to do something for my community and kind of show the world what we have. So the skills learned doing this radical self-reliance thing can be used to be radically self-reliant in times of need outside of this cool thing we do in the desert.
Well, thank you so much. Really nice to chat with you today, and we'll see you at Burning Man.
And I can't wait to see you.
Today, I'm excited that we have with us James Gortzman, who is the co-founder of the Moonlight Collective and the lead artist, and Casey Marvin, who is the other co-founder and the creative director of the Moonlight Collective.
I'm James Gortzman, lead artist for the Moonlight Collective, and I'm really excited to introduce you today to our new piece for Burning Man this year, the Moonlight Library. The idea for the library was conceived, as all great ideas are, on a napkin over drinks one night with co-founder and creative director Casey Marvin. Our first big work, The Prairie of Possibilities, debuted at Burning Man 2022 and explored the transformational power of storytelling to generate empathy, inspire connection, and bridge divides. In that piece, participants had a chance to have a conversation with the entity who inhabits a field of glowing prairie grass and to record deeply personal stories connected to core emotions. We've collected nearly 2,000 of those stories, and now with this new piece, we're expanding on the same fictional universe as the prairie, building the library where the entity stores those stories.
The Moonlight Library, visible to the human eye as a desolate ruin suspended between realms, serves as a liminal archive of collective memory. And in this moonlit moment, participants have the unique opportunity to look at their own story from the viewpoint of their last chapter and author their own changes to this narrative. Our work explores the fundamental question of what it means to be human. In this exhibit, we explore that question through an immersive, interactive experience that centers around our ability to author our own stories. To be human is to engage in the grand experiment of life. Trial and error, growth and regret, joy and sacrifice. It's the process of becoming and the fragments of self that we leave behind as we change.
Besides exploring the library itself, we're going to have different levels of immersiveness. Guests can notice that certain books on the shelves are glowing, and if you stroke those books, you'll be rewarded by hearing the story that book contains, one of the stories we recorded earlier. And if you're able to find the hidden entrance to a tunnel inside the walls of the library, you can follow that through to a hidden space where you'll have a dialogue with the entity who will challenge you to consider your own story and ask, from the perspective of your final chapter, if you could rewrite one part of your story, what would it be? We can't wait to welcome you at our library on the playa at Burning Man. Until then.
In lumine lunari es renescentis. In moonlight, you are reborn.
I love how you started with the Prairie Possibilities for several years, and that was so much about storytelling. Like in your video, you had 2,000 stories from that. It's cool to see the evolution of that into now library. Like it makes a lot of sense.
Same fictional universe. You know, part of the conceit here is that this entity that inhabited the prairie, this is her library. This is where she keeps the stories. You had this brilliant idea for this climactic experience that is sort of buried deep within this piece, where you can really start to explore this notion of not just sharing a story, but really starting to edit your story.
Going forward into the library, we're leaning a little bit more into the active, right? That the art of that sharing and the role that you play in authoring that story. And so I think it'll be an interesting shift. I don't want to, no spoilers. But I think there will be an experience with the entity if you can find her. It'll be an interesting shift and a more active involvement in your own story.
Do you already have thoughts about what might evolve after the library?
We've got some pretty big, ambitious ideas for the future, but right now we're in execution mode. We're under the gun to bring you guys some magic for Burning Man, and we're going to deliver.
I am really excited for us to welcome Elnara Nasirli, who is coming this year with a project called Desert Air Oasis Breath Core 7. She's got a background in environmental technology, and she draws inspiration from biotechnology and mixed media to create immersive biomorphic worlds. So Elnara, I'm so happy that you're calling in today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And you are, tell us where you are.
I'm from Azerbaijan.
Hello, my name's Elnara Nasirli. I'm lead artist for Desert Air Oasis Breath Core 7, and we're going to be a team of people arriving from Azerbaijan to build this installation at Burning Man 2025. And it's basically a self-sustaining air purification unit in a dystopian future. It's interactive, and it mimics an artificial lung. It filters air and captures carbon while immersing participants in a rhythmic, breathing-like atmosphere. It's a 7-panel bamboo shell, which encloses a mechanical core powered by bioluminescent algae that breathes and filters the air. So people can actually have it like a shelter from the environment. Real-time lighting enhances its presence, evoking the fragile balance between nature and technology. BC7 is basically an invitation to reflect on survival, sustainability, and our dependence on air as a shared essential resource. We wrote up an air tax law for the future, adopted 7th November 2139, and basically in this hypothetical scenario, all trees died out, so there's mass extinction, and so every single person is required by law to filter their own air and have a quota of oxygen consumption per person. The outer shell of the BC7 allows survival against the harsh weather conditions and sandstorms. The lighting produces a frequency that allows people to navigate and access it even with poor visibility, and collects water during rain. And of course, we use solar panels to completely sustainably power the pod. The inner BC7 apparatus, first model designed in 2140, has a central mechanism that is replica of a 7-cylinder radial combustion engine, with its design inverted to spec to function as an artificial ventilator, filtering up to 4,000 liters of CO2 from the air daily, depending on the speed of function, thanks to bioluminescent algae driven carbon capture and storage filters. Thank you very much.
I just love all the different wild ideas that people come up with for art to bring to Burning Man. This one fits actually really well with our theme this year, Tomorrow Today, that's focusing a lot about the future. But I'm curious, in general, does your work conceptually, do you like to think about the future frequently, or this kind of like this, post-apocalyptic, dystopian kind of concepts, or is it this particular project this is the first time you're exploring some of those ideas?
Well, because of my environmental background, when I worked as an environmentalist, I found that it's very difficult to make people understand and actually pay attention to the issues that we're talking about. But through art, it's so much easier. And I find it's a very powerful tool. It's something that makes you feel uncomfortable in a way where you're like, oh, we need to do something now, because we don't want to depend on these sort of machines in order to breathe just because we made a mistake 200 years ago that's irreversible, basically.
Well, we're really excited to have you coming to Burning Man this year. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
From so far away to share what is a really crucial message for us in this moment. We have here today with us Mark Deem, who is going to talk about his project, One Tin Soldier. He has been going to Burning Man for ages and ages. He actually helped build the man many, many times, going back to 2013, and has worked on a number of other large pieces in Black Rock City, including a temple and the head maze. He is part of the collective, the Misfit Toys. That's an art collective that is brought together by the love of creative collaboration. Its members are a mix of professionals and amateurs, artists and makers, architects and electricians, welders and woodworkers, and they like their art big, as they say, really big. So I'm excited to welcome Mark here today. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so nice to see you.
Yeah, it's great to be here again. I had this idea of what would an archaeological find of your childhood look like? Well, it would have to be massive because everything looks so big when you're a kid. And I wanted that magic of an adult stumbling across something so familiar that immediately gets a gut punch that puts them back into a childlike state and just leaves them no option but to wonder and to play.
It's that sense of imagined nostalgia. It's a time of being a kid, playing out in the dirt with the blocks and the horse, and thinking about how the time used to be.
I'm here at Golden Gate Park with our first piece, Remember When. We're excited to bring a bigger piece of 5 large toys out to the playa this year. I'm excited to build big art, and building big art for the world is even better.
We're at the Reno Generator, where we're going to be building the yo-yo for the Misfit Toys project.
I think the real centerpiece is the horse. I get lost in it. I love a piece of art that makes me forget where I am, forget how old I am, forget how big I am, and I can just be that little ant playing in the sand with all the toys.
I'm interested in the childlike element of it. Why exploring childhood is meaningful for you.
I think more than anything else, it was just this idea of like an archaeological find. There's a universal experience of growing up and losing touch with that childlike quality.
Mm-hmm.
And so that combination of an archaeological find of things that you stumble across in the desert and what would be really meaningful and impactful to find.
Mm-hmm.
We spend so much time thinking about rediscovering our childhood. I'm like, let's just do it.
Great. Well, I'm really excited for your project this year and to get to work with you. So thank you so much.
I'm totally psyched, and thank you all on behalf of the Misfit Toys, because I'm the one in front of the camera right now, but I will always, always credit the Misfit Toys. I just happen to be the one with the idea for this piece.
We've got Rob Brown and Alicia and Aviva, who are part of the group The Followers of Floyd, an ephemeral group of artists who come and go throughout the remote fishing community of Cordova, Alaska. Welcome to you guys today. Thanks so much for joining us from Alaska. Cool.
Hey, Squawk.
Well, thanks for having us.
Here at the Black Rock City Chicken Ranch testing facility, we rigorously test each chicken before we allow it to be used in the ranch. First, we spin it. Then, we pressure test it. And then finally, a squawk test. If any Black Rock City chickens fail our tests, they are euthanized in a humane manner.
Electrocution.
Don't realize and you don't feel the pain, just know that a big portion is gone from your brain.
This is great. I mean, this is one of the things I love about Burning Man, and the variety of projects that come to Black Rock City is just one of the coolest things about it.
Bring us your chickens. Bring us your chickens.
We just want people to laugh and have a good time.
Yeah. Well, thank you for bringing that level of absurdity to the playa that I think a lot of people will appreciate and get a kick out of. I know I'm looking forward to rolling around and hearing the squawking.
I asked myself, what would 10-year-old Rob do? And 10-year-old Rob would play with rubber chickens. So, and you're making that possible, so thank you.
I think you'll have a lot of people access their inner 10-year-olds this year, so thanks. And next up, I'm really excited that we've got Alyssa Oliveira here today with her project, The Disco Snail. Alyssa is a multidisciplinary artist. You may have seen her work at Burning Man, Lightning in a Bottle, the Shambhala Festival, and more events. So welcome. Yeah, so glad you're here.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Hey everyone, my name's Alyssa. 2 years ago, I started Alpine Artist Collective. Not really knowing exactly what I was doing, I just knew that I really wanted to build big art and also build a community of like-minded people. So in 2023, I built my first large-scale installation, Promise of the Decade. It marked my 10th year at Burning Man and the year I finally fulfilled a promise to myself to bring big art to the playa. In 2024, we received an honorarium grant. That piece became Prismatic Perspectives, or as we started to call it, Doors Galore. An installation made entirely out of doors, 32 of them. It resembled opening new doors or chapters in life and invited people to step into new perspectives. This year, I'm so honored to be returning with another honorarium grant to bring Disco Snail to life. It's colorful, ridiculous, and joyful, and at its heart, it's about slowing down and embracing playfulness and goofiness. My last two pieces were more architectural in nature, so they didn't have as much personality per se, but Disco Snail is full of character, and bringing it to life has been an entirely new and incredibly fun experience for me so far. Another reason Disco Snail has been both fun and challenging is that unlike my previous two projects, mostly built from wood, this piece uses entirely different materials. Learning to work with foam, concrete, tile, and metal has been exciting and at times definitely frustrating as well. The body is sculpted from high-density EPS foam, then layered with mesh, concrete, tile, and grout. I wanted to use aluminum for the majority of the shell for its sleek appearance and being weather-resistant, lightweight. I was just curious about welding aluminum, so I thought it would be a good opportunity to learn. First, I had to design the shell and have all the pieces cut out from a CNC plasma machine. Then I welded all of the aluminum pieces together to create the overall shell design. Still have to build a solid frame for it to attach to and add in all of the colorful windows to the shell. The last component to the installation is the mushroom base that the snail will be elevated on top of. I also really wanted to give a shout out to our amazing makerspace, the Truckee Roundhouse. We primarily work out of the wood and metal shops. We also have access to the textile shop, ceramic studio, and tech shop. This community of makers, dreamers, and doers are at the heart of our creative process. Needless to say, without this space, none of these projects would have been possible. What most people don't see are the months of preparation, the problem solving, heavy lifting, all the dirty work and late nights. but seeing people interact with our installations, finding their way inside, playing with the small details, watching them light up at night, that's the moment that makes it all worth it. So I'm so grateful to every friend that trusted the vision and helped me pull it off, and to every dusty soul who stopped to play and admire our projects.
How did this group of people come together?
I started working out of the Truckee Roundhouse. I started volunteering there. That opened so many doors. Just working out of that space and just collecting people who also feel like they want to try something new. We have all these tools at the Truckee Roundhouse. And if you don't know how to do, you can take a class and you can learn.
Yeah, it's nice to get to hear more about it and talk to you a little bit more. So
you too.
Thanks so much for coming.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. We have with us today Auli Wibopin, who is calling in and joining us from Estonia. Auli is a modern-day, earth-loving waste alchemist with over a decade of dedication to giving abandoned items new value by transforming discarded materials into resources. So welcome, Auli. I'm so happy to have you here today.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. Before the desert, before the metal, there are 42 pairs of hands. They live in islands, forests, city flats, stitching the idea called drop. There's a family eating breakfast and getting ready for their day. Across the map, 3 more mornings unfold. In each, someone is sowing tomorrow. 9 o'clock, all roads lead to a giant hangar that smells of coffee and possibility. The skeleton waits. The skin arrives by the armful. Inside, the light flows like milk. 100 meters of heartbeat. Every stitch carries a signature and a salary. I'm Auli, and this is Drop, a sculpture made from textile waste by hands across Estonia. Mothers, makers, and people with special needs. It's not just a sculpture, it's a question, a mirror, a womb, a whisper that says, we're all connected. As Rumi said, you are not a drop in the ocean, but the ocean in the drop. And this is that drop, a vessel of care, connection, and change. Soon, this milk will meet the dust.
Wow, what a beautiful and inspiring project. It's very moving. I'm curious if you can tell me more about what inspired you to explore the concept of mother's milk.
Well, I've been breastfeeding religiously now for about 4 years. And I was thinking, I'm doing so much, I'm doing my best. And no matter how well I eat or how natural my fibers are that I wear, my milk is still contaminated because in 2022 they found microplastics in breast milk. But it's not even my singular effort into giving the best, purest milk to my son, but it's what we're all doing, how we're all contaminating the water that we drink or the air around us.
Am I right in understanding this is your first year actually coming to Black Rock City, to Burning Man? That's a big deal for your first time to come and be the lead of a big installation like this?
Well, I've known about Burning Man for a long time. What I didn't know, though, is that it's open for everybody. I don't even identify myself as an artist. I call myself a maker. And maybe I should make the leap because I am an artist. And when I learned that you can actually, anyone can have an idea and submit it, I was like, wow, that's actually amazing. You don't have to have all these accolades and be an artist in certain circles. You can just be whoever you are and you can do art. And I just thought that was amazing.
I'm really excited today to welcome Antoine Lee, who's bringing the project Pillar of Potolo. Antoine is a licensed architect and artist whose work explores the intersection of history, mythology, and art through a contemporary lens. Antoine and I met back in 2020 when he proposed a project called the Solar Shrine for Burning Man, which wound up ultimately happening in 2022. And I also had a chance to visit him in his studio in Chicago recently. It was lots of fun. And now he's joining me here today to chat a little bit. Hi, Antoine.
Hey, Eddie, how are you doing?
I'm good.
My name is Antoine Lee. I am the lead artist for the project Pillar of Potolo, which is a 2025 honorarium project for Burning Man. I and the rest of my team are based out of Chicago, and we call ourselves the Solar Shrine Collective. Our team started back in 2022 when we brought our first project out to Burning Man called the Solar Shrine. It was a rather big structure. It was an Afrofuturistic, ancient Egyptian and Nubian temple. It was a great project, and we have done other community projects in Chicago as well. The Pillar of Potolo is an interactive art installation that pays homage to the ancient cosmology and spiritual beliefs of the Dogon people of Mali in West Africa. This sculpture transmits their knowledge of astronomy and sacred science through petroglyphs, symbols, and other indigenous aesthetics. One of our main goals of the project Pillar of Potolo is to have a conversation and dialogue about what is technology. You know, like African art and architecture and sacred structures are forms of technology. They may not be zeros and ones, but they're a science, they're a spiritual science. And Africans, like other cultural groups all over the world, have traditional practices that engage with shrines and structures to connect with other states of being. Higher states of consciousness, transcendence, and other dimensions of realities are experienced. The installation integrates ethnography of the Dogon people with archetypes from our modern consciousness, such as terminal interfaces from our computer age. We want attendees at Burning Man to question, what is technology and how do they experience it, interact with it, and are impacted by it, both spiritually and physically in contemporary realities. There will be various levels of interactivity of lighting and sound. Cameras at each podium will capture images of the attendees' faces and transmit them to the center pillar sculpture element. The Solar Shrine Collective is honored to have received an art honorarium for this project. We feel that healing and transformation will be facilitated through Pillar of Potolo with the reintegration of spiritual concepts and connections to ancestral beliefs. I've studied different spiritual systems now well over 30 years. I started studying metaphysics and different parts of esoteric systems and things like that. But I've always had a deep affinity to African spirituality. My father was really big in it when he was also a young, primarily West African spirituality out of Nigeria. So that's where a lot of it comes from. So what we'll be using is a software program, something called pixel mapping. Some of the effects we're going to be doing is based on sounds. The installation will be playing 24 hours, indigenous African beats at the base. And then we're going to augment that.
Well, thanks so much for having us here today.
I am so excited to welcome Thomas Dambo here today with the project Rose Wonders. Thomas is a Danish artist and recycling visionary. Welcome, Thomas. Really happy to have you here today.
Hello. Hi, Katie. And thank you. Nice to meet you. Hello, Burning Man community and art lovers from around the world. My name is Thomas Dambo. I am known for building giant recycled wooden troll sculptures that I hide in forests around the world. Over the last 11 years, I've made now 156 sculptures. So my idea was that this is like a little child that's sitting in a forest looking and wondering about what is this butterfly that sits on my finger. But instead of that, it's a human looking at a butterfly, it's a troll looking at a human. And all the hair is made out of all these branches. So we've had a lot of volunteers that have helped me collect all these branches from different places in Denmark. All my stuff is made out of leftovers, waste, trash, and all the cladding of the Burning Man troll comes from a playground company in Denmark. It's all this like shells and first cut in a robinia tree that they don't need. So we're using that for the fur. And then it's water damaged larch wood that is all the cladding of the arms. I see you at the burn 2025. Peace.
Did you ever imagine this whole community you would build around the work that you're doing?
I had a vision about that. I just remember having that clear side of if I make a giant sculpture exhibition all over the world that is made out of trash and that is made in a way so that people can help me build it. And I was just if I just start putting one all over the world, one by one, then it'll be epic, We have data that shows there's 4 million troll hunters annually that goes and find my trolls. And all my trolls is made of trash together with volunteers. There is 12.5 million tons of scrap wood that is either burned or wood chipped annually in the United States. That's enough to build 2.5 million trolls a year in the United States. So thank you so much for letting me come to Burning Man and supporting me to come to Burning Man. To do that there with the wonderful Burning Man community, that's been a dream of mine for many, many years to do that. So I'm happy to come and do it here in 2025.
I'm excited to see your work around the U.S., around the world, but certainly at Burning Man this summer. So thanks so much, Thomas. I am really excited that we'll get to talk to this year's lead artist of the Temple of the Deep, led by artist Miguel Araiz from Valencia, Spain. He is also the regional contact for the Burning Man community in Valencia, Spain. Miguel has been a practicing architect for many years. Where he lives in Valencia, there is this hundreds-of-year-old tradition called Las Fallas, where they build, neighborhoods come together and they build ephemeral art in community, and then they burn it, which will sound familiar to many of us in the Burning Man community. And so Miguel has been very involved in building these ephemeral artworks for many years, 15 years plus, and was introduced to Burning Man in 2015 and then came in 2016 with an honoraria project, Renaissance. And this project was in Black Rock City and also brought back to Valencia. We are thrilled that Miguel is the temple artist for this year. Welcome, Miguel. I'm happy to have you here today.
Thank you very much. The main idea behind this project is to go back to the nature. We were in Black Rock Desert. We thought that the best idea was to take one black rock and to raise it with the power of community and to build this, more than a temple, to build a shelter for emotions, a place where you can safely share your emotions as you grieve with other people. This rock is also like a big heart that has been broken and shattered in 1,000 pieces. And then after the grief, it comes back together and it's stronger. During the project, all these cracks, you could see through them. So it's like the heart is still broken, and it will be one moment of completion with this goal. It will be when we burn the temple, we will burn it from the inside, so these cracks will be golden with the light, and that will be the moment at the end of the process we are healed. But 5 minutes after, it will be ashes again. So it's like saying that the process is always continuous. You have your ups and downs. We will have this moment of completion when we are burning that, but next day we will have to start over again in the process of learning and going through the grief and the process of life. If you take it, the geometry of the rock, it's like a flower. And first thing that we will do on playa, it will be to build this flower on the ground. At the beginning, life is like a flower, but then life, it's hard, things happen to you, and then this flower will become the rock. So it's like you start pure fresh, but at the end life makes things harder, So you probably become like a rock. There is a moment in your life that you will have to break that rock and go through the grief and through the learning of life.
So this year's temple, Temple of the Deep, it's a dramatically different design than what we've had in Black Rock City since 2000 was the first temple.
I think that at the end, Burning Man is a place we have to explore different paths.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Burning Man is the place to experiment those things. We
Yeah.
want to make something that makes them feel like protected, like a shelter. We are not building a temple, it's more like a shelter to be inside and to feel safe, to speak with the other.
A lot of previous temples or religious architecture in general has this upward, skyward, this kind of feeling of like some divine being is in the heavens and we're like directing our energy upwards. You were talking about it feeling more protected and like a shelter.
At the end, I think that we need the answer from other humans and other people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like sometimes we try to find the answer someplace in the universe,
Yeah.
when maybe the answer is between us. Temple is just trying to show you some path.
Right. It's providing a space for that healing to happen. Well, I'm so glad that you were able to be here in person today, and thank you really deeply for all that you're doing to make this temple come together. It's such a meaningful part of Black Rock City for so many of the participants there, so I'm really grateful for you and all you're doing.
Thank you very much, and we will try to provide the best temple for the community. And one thing will be for sure that we are putting all our heart, and the volunteers are doing that. So at the end, I think that's the important part.
Wow, what an amazing journey through creativity and storytelling. And to think this is only just a small slice of the almost 400 projects coming to Burning Man this year. How fun. It's interesting to me to hear all these stories and to see how alive the theme of environmental sustainability is this year. So many artists are working with reclaimed materials, exploring climate issues. And, we didn't set out to explicitly feature projects focusing on this, but it's just such a part of the zeitgeist right now and what's on people's hearts and minds, and it's really reflective of the larger world. So cool to see that happening. Thanks to all of the artists that have participated. What an amazing bunch of people you are. Having the opportunity to collaborate with this fantastic range of people doing such interesting work from all over the world is one of the biggest highlights of my job. So thanks for your creative visions and for taking a break from your building to share your stories with us. I can't wait to see your work come to life in Black Rock City. Thanks also to the production team here at Burning Man, my amazing colleagues who are producing this with me. Always fun to work together. And thanks to you for listening to these artist stories, for supporting self-expression in Black Rock City, and for whatever ways you are fighting to stay creative in your own world. So thanks for joining Burning Man and seeking to make the world a more innovative and engaging place. Remember that Burning Man is all about participation. There are no spectators, as we say, so you too can be involved. Maybe you'll be inspired to support some of today's artists, participate in their build, or contribute to something that they're doing with their project. And you can get contact info for all of these artists on our website. And with these hundreds of projects coming to Black Rock City this year, almost all of them are built in community. So there are plenty of ways for you to plug in and get involved. See the art listings on our website to find a project happening near you, or connect with your regional community. There are groups all over the world to find out how you can get involved close to home. So lots of possibilities and ways for you to engage. And lastly, material costs and transportation costs have risen dramatically. Today's artists all really need any financial support you're able to provide. Links to all these artists are on our website now on the Desert Arts preview page. Please take a look and see what catches your eye and what you might want to support. And the work my team does year-round to support these artists is part of the larger mission of Burning Man Project, which is a nonprofit. If you feel moved to support us, we would truly appreciate it. Some artists are supported by grants from Burning Man. Our budget is close to $5 million annually for all art support. And of that, $1.5 million is given directly to artists and grants. Help us continue supporting a global community of artists, stimulating innovation and creativity, and amplifying the magic of Black Rock City. Visit donate.burningman.org. And thank you for your generosity. Bye-bye.